I can't say I expected to see you all the way out here. Kal'Shebbol's pretty far afield. What the hell brings you all the way out here? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. You're interested in hearing a local legend? A true one, at that? It's about a nearby nebula you might have seen on your star chart coming in. Now, Kal'Shebbol is as remote as it is, but there's a whole swath of wild space rimward of it, out in the Kathol sector out back. There's a whole tangle of lesser-known routes and settlements out there, and a handful of local interstellar civilizations. You've got the Pimbrellan League closest, then the Kathol Republic, and finally the Kektoth Confederation. But past it all is this big, frackin' nebula, the densest you will ever see. It's called the Kathol Rift, and it's one of the weirdest places in the galaxy. Just getting there is an adventure, but if you actually manage to get inside, it might be more than even a hardened spacer can handle.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
The path to the Kathol Rift is complicated, and there's plenty of potential danger along it. From here, you'd want to head all the way down the Trition trade route until you reach the Markol Void. That's where the Kathol sector becomes the Kathol Outback. There's two routes through the Markol Void, one that leads to the Pimbrellan League worlds, and another that eventually leads to the Kathol Republic. From there, the route first goes to Ukablis, and then to Shatun. After Shatun, you'll want to head to the Narmalis system. There's a colony world out there, Danor, where you can rest for a while. Due to the quality of the routes, it's slow going just to get this far. Weeks of hyperspace travel at least. Past Danor, you'll finally reach the Kathol Rift. By the time you reach the Kathol Rift, you'll be on the very edge of the galaxy. There's nothing past the rift but void and a few straggler stars circling the galaxy on eccentric orbits. The rift itself is a massive wall of gas and dust, the densest nebula you'll ever set eyes on. It covers a huge swath of space, and it's a real pain to travel through. The only known hyperspace routes through the Kathol Rift cut through the center, but the course is winding, convoluted, and treacherous. It can take a month just to get to the other side. The usual dangers of traveling through nebula apply to the Kathol Rift, but the Rift also has some more unique challenges for travelers. Just being in the nebula causes hallucinations, for one thing. Especially hallucinations of spiders, for some reason. If you're skittish about arthropods, stay away from the Kathol Rift at all costs. Even if you're not, you might want to keep your distance anyway, and the hallucinations are just the start. It's what's hidden inside the rift that's really worth talking about. The scientists on Danor are pretty sure the Kathol Rift is artificial. Some say it was made by the Celestials in the times before the Republic, before the Builders even. The locals have a different story. They say that long ago, the Kathol Outback was the territory of the Old Ones, the original Kathol species, a highly advanced civilization with bizarre organic technology. They created whole species to serve them, and they traveled from system to system using launch gates, enormous organic platforms that opened portals into hyperspace. The story goes that thousands of years ago, a dark Jedi conquered the Kathol, and a Jedi Knight came in after them. There was a battle, and during it, one of the Kathol's launch gates overloaded and blew up. Supposedly, this tore a hole in hyperspace and fracked up the whole region of space, creating the Kathol Rift. Regardless of which story's true, the Kathol Rift is a spooky place, and there are a lot of secrets hidden within it. Some of them have yet to be properly discovered. If you've heard of the Aing-Tii monks, their homeworld is supposed to be located somewhere inside the rift, though no one knows where. It's not on the known route through the nebula though, I can tell you that much. There are a few planets on that route though. The closest to the civilized galaxy is Khmer, a hellhole with ammonia oceans and a chlorine atmosphere, which isn't even worth looking at. Not far past it though, is the first alien construct you're likely to find in the Rift, a sort of organic space station. No one knows who grew the thing or why, though the original Kathol are probably a safe bet. It's apparently some sort of space dock, but it's malfunctioned after having been abandoned for so long. Any ship that gets too close will be snatched up by the station's tentacles and dragged into one of its docking bays. The inside, supposedly, is a huge labyrinth. There's said to be an ancient artifact of alien origin deep within, but nobody knows for certain. Past the construct, there's a long stretch of empty space before you reach the Blue Swirl, a relatively calm region of the nebula with a bunch of blue stars in it. This region contains Ivara, the homeworld of the Ivarima, a species unlike any other. They're a hive mind of sorts, kind of like the Belars, if you're familiar with them. Individuals of the species are non-sentient, but the Ivarima can develop collective sentience when in groups. This hive mind is managed by a creature called the Majvara, which depends on the Ivarima servants for survival. Past Ivara is Demon's Gate, a volcanic planet close to the far end of the Kathol Rift. This is the most remote charted world in the nebula, and unless you're a biologist or a geologist, there's nothing worth landing on this planet for. Contrary to its name though, there's nothing terribly dark about Demon's Gate. The name is based on its appearance from orbit more than anything else. No, the real dark heart of the Kathol Rift, if you can find it, is Kathol itself. Kathol was ravaged by whatever cataclysm created the rift, and it's a shell of its former self nowadays. Its cities are crumbling ruins, devoid of life. The Kathol themselves are nowhere to be found, but the planet, ruined though it is crawling with other kinds of sentience. Most of these are artificial, having been created for specific purposes, and they're some of the most bizarre creatures you will ever lay eyes on. One of the more prominent is the Aing-Tii, who were created by the original Kathol to serve as farmers. They live as slaves now, along with a slew of other more recently created species, which range from sentient worms and birds to amorphous slime creatures. Kathol only has one known species that doesn't seem to have been created artificially, and they're somehow the strangest of all, the fiery ones, beings of pure light that live in secluded parts of the planet. All of Kathol's creatures, except for the fiery ones, serve as a single being, the last construct of the ancient Kathol. As the story goes, when the cataclysm that formed the rift happened, the Kathol activated a contingency plan. They built an immense crystalline organ called the Life Well that could safely store their consciousnesses and life energies until the cataclysm was over, following which they could emerge and reclaim their home world. Before they downloaded themselves into the Life Well, they built an organic supercomputer to maintain it, ordered to wake them at the proper time. This being supposedly looks like a 15-meter-long centipede, and though its original name is unknown, it's known today as the DarkStryder. The DarkStryder protected the Life Well through the cataclysm, but after the danger passed, it decided to keep its creators in stasis. Instead, it claimed Kathol for its own, filling the planet with its own bizarre creations and enslaving the Aing-Tii. It's ruled Kathol as a tyrant for thousands of years, and its servants have built a fortress around the Life Well where the original Kathol are supposedly trapped to this day. It's said that their life forces have created an energy field in the Kathol Rift that's similar to the Force, which the locals call the Tari. Some of the beings that live on or near the Kathol Rift have stories claiming that one day, those trapped in the Life Well will be freed, the DarkStryder will be destroyed, and the rift will be purged of its dark taint. Only time will tell if those stories will come true. That's all I have on the Kathol Rift at any rate, but you look like you're still looking for more stories. Tell you what, meet me back here before you leave Kal'Shebbol, and I'll give you a story from the unknown regions. See you then.